People of Earth, this is my first video. It might be my last, who knows. Uh, I'm making this in response to all those videos that I keep seeing where they say, it gets better. And my thing is, I don't think it gets better. I think it gets worse, or for some people it might just get less bad. But before I explain why, let me talk about why I wanted to make this video. I kept seeing Lady Gaga talk about don't ask, don't tell, and fighting for the rights for queer people to be able to go to the other side of the world and kill kids and burn villages and whatnot. And I didn't agree with that. Nor do I agree with this hate crimes legislation in which we strengthen the prison industrial complex. Nor do I agree with all this discourse about gay marriage and equal rights. I kept seeing all this conversation happen, and I think it's a waste of time. And if you want to know why, read stuff by Yasmin Nair, because her stuff is brilliant. But I wanted to talk about this it gets better stuff, because I don't think it gets better. I think that for some people, maybe it gets less bad, but for other people, it indeed gets worse. And here's why. The it gets better discourse is founded on a bunch of lies. The first lie is that after high school, you'll be able to avoid those bullies. You can choose not to hang out with those bullies anymore, people in those videos tell you. And that's just not true. You're still going to have bullies in your life. It might not be the same bullies unless you're in a really rural area, but you're still going to have bullies. You're still going to have people who are throwing insults at you from their car windows as they drive by, people who will give you some funny look to let you know that you're not welcome there, people who will try to commit some act of violence against you. The point is, there's still going to be bullies. The second lie in these videos is that people say, oh, just wait till college. College is going to be great. And there are a couple problems with this one. First of all, not everybody's going to go to college. Not everybody has the economic background that will allow them to go to college. It's just simply not a possibility for a lot of people. And don't try to tell me that through scholarships and loans and grants, people will be able to go, because that's just not true. Different high schools prepare people differently to be able to go to college. Some people, through their life experiences, have are better able to navigate bureaucracies. And furthermore, I don't know that we should be looking to assimilate into another mainstream institution like college to try to find solutions for another status quo reproducing institution like heterosexuality. We shouldn't look for the solutions of one problem and another problem. So some people aren't even going to go to college, so it's not going to get better for them. And the people who do go to college, it's not going to be better for them necessarily either, because some colleges, they'll say, oh, well, once you go to college, you'll be able to join some queer organization and you'll make queer friends. Well, not all colleges have queer organizations. If you're at a community college or a satellite campus, they're not going to have queer groups. Moberly Area Community College in Columbia, Missouri does not have a queer student organization. Some colleges and universities will prevent queer student organizations from forming, like Lindenwood University in suburban St. Louis did in February. Some colleges and universities, private religious ones, may teach homophobia as part of the curriculum. So things might not necessarily be better once you go to college. If you can go to college and you go to a big school that can have queer organizations and stuff like that, you'll quickly realize that there are systems of difference even within the so-called queer community. This is the third overall lie that's perpetuated in this it gets better discourse, is that just wait, things will get better, you'll be able to find a nice queer community where you have a sense of belonging. Well, I hate to break it to you, but there is no queer community. Anytime we have a sense of community, it's fleeting. So Matthew Shepard gets killed and we all get together and we cry and we feel like we're all part of the same community, but that goes away. We stop thinking about that after a while. Or we have queer community when we go to gay pride in the summer and we vote for the gayest dog. I'd just like to do a shout out to Claude, Columbia's 2010 reigning gayest dog. But those moments of queer community are fleeting. They go away very quickly. They're overshadowed by the differences that exist within the so-called queer community. And let me just talk about some of those differences. First of all, you have to be white. In order to be sexy, you have to be white. This is mainstream America. Hollywood sells us this white image of what's sexy. And if you're not white, you can still be sexy, but oftentimes you'll be treated like an exotic animal. You also have to be pretty. You can't be ugly. You can't have rotten teeth. You can't have wolf teeth. You can't have some big hairy mole on your face. You can't be losing your hair. You have to be pretty if you want to be one of the queer cool kids. You have to be skinny. You can't be fat. Nobody wants fatty, right? And if somebody does want a fatty, well, there's something wrong with that person too. We'll call that person a chubby chaser, and we'll say that they have some strange fetish, and we'll just further marginalize them within this already marginalized community. Uh, you also have to be properly gendered, right? Even though you'd think that, oh, well, we're aware of gender, we're not. We'll be able to be accepting of people of different genders. No, that's not true. Uh, if you're I just like drag queens will say that they often hear like, well, if I wanted to date a girl, I'd date a girl. Well, drag queens aren't girls, they're guys, uh, and being properly gendered is just they say no fats, no femmes, and being properly gendered. So you can talk about transgender people too. Well, they're clearly not properly gendered. So then we'll say, oh, well, how do they do it, or with whom do they do it? I just don't understand how that works, and we pass judgments. And even transgender people among themselves will police each other's behavior and say, oh, well, you're not on hormones. I guess you're not trans enough, or you're not authentically trans, and so on. So even then, there's still going to be divisions. There are divisions based on money, too. Uh, you'll experience pressure to conform to this stereotype of a queer consumer, where you have to be able to buy the right shoes and the right clothes and the right cell phone and the right hormones and the right paperwork and the right drugs and the right alcohol. You need to spend money to be authentically queer. And if you don't have that money, you're not authentically queer. You have to be educated. You have to have gone to college. Even if you just go for sociology, you still have to go to college of some sort in order to be accepted in the queer community. You have to like music, and not just any music. You have to like the right kind of music. You can't like top 40. You have to like something underground. Maybe you could probably get by with Lady Gaga. I don't know. You have to like music though, and there's expectations about what type of music you can like. What else? You can't be in a wheelchair. All sorts of rules about how you have to be if you're going to be accepted within this so-called community of queer people. It's all a bunch of lies. And what's worse than the lies are the broader implications of this discourse. If we buy the it gets better argument, we're led to believe that we should follow other lines of reasoning. So if we say that we believe it gets better, we're also believing that, nothing really needs to be done right now. All you have to do is wait it out. So the behavior of the bullies can go unquestioned. The behavior of the school administrators who don't do anything about it can go unquestioned. We don't have to think about those issues. We'll just wait it out. The solution lies in the future, not in the present. The last, or another problem with this discourse is that it's going to go away. So I'm like, oh, Lady Gaga, why are you talking about Don't Ask, Don't Tell? Why don't you talk about something important like gay teen suicide? And then it happened. We started talking about it, but it's going to go away. It's going to go away like the last election, like the last oil spill, like the last terrorist attack. It's going to go away like Chandra Levy, like Terry Schiavo. Remember them? No, they went away. It's going to go away like the World Cup. It's going to go away like the Olympics. It'll go away just like any other hubbub that's perpetuated in the mass media. It's going to go away as people passively sit in front of their televisions or play on Facebook. It's going to go away as something new comes along to occupy our minds, whether it's shark attacks or bridges falling or some kid being kidnapped or whatever. It's going to go away, and we'll forget about it. We won't talk about it anymore. We'll forget about it, having done nothing about it. So I'm saying like, oh, well, we shouldn't be talking about this. It gets better because that's a lie. Well, what should we be talking about then? One, we could be talking about how there's a lack of trained, sensitive social workers in schools who have real authority. And we could talk about how that job is devalued. We could talk about deconstructing the meanings that we associate with sexuality and gender and religion and so on. Take a step back and realize how we make all this stuff up. We make up what it means to be a girl, what it means to be a boy. We make up sexualities and ideas about them. We make up religion and the implications that come along with them. We should be talking about the only thing that's hopeful, really, is that the opportunity to have a unique perception on the world. And it doesn't happen for everyone, and some people have it more or less than others. But what I mean is this unique way of viewing the world. If you're disenfranchised from society, if you're kicked out, if you're spat upon, if you're not allowed to play the game, then you're able to step back and view the game from outside. You're able to see how everything is organized and see how you don't fit into it and see how everyone else does. You're able to see the deep structure that organizes society. Roy Anzaldúa calls this La Facultad. So with this, I mean, there's good and there's bad, right? Because you're disenfranchised, that's the bad. But the good is that you have this unique perspective. You can take a step back and say, you know what? I don't have to be spoon-fed everything I want to believe in. I don't have to just uncritically accept everything that I've been told. I don't have to just follow the rules. I'm operating outside of the rules. And since I'm operating outside of the rules, I can challenge other taken for granted assumptions that are going on in my life. This is what we should be talking about. We should talk about critically examining, our conversations, critically examining the problems that we talk about, the causes of those problems and the solutions to those problems, not just repeating whatever it is other people have said. Okay, that's all I have to say.